Even though Victorious got cancelled after 3 seasons, it's still hard to believe the series ended. The show skyrocketed Ariana Grande to stardom and became one of the most popular shows on Nickelodeon at the time. But have you ever noticed just how many innuendos it has? There's even an episode where the characters have an obsession with feet. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a big thumbs up if you still watch Victorious. Now, let's check out 10 funniest adult jokes in Victorious you might have missed. Adolescent Joke. Nickelodeon is known to never really hold back when it comes to teenage jokes that will probably go over a teenager's head. But if you rewatch some of these as an adult, you might appreciate some of these jokes a lot better. In the first episode of Season 3, also known as the Holiday Special episode, Andre got upset for receiving his first failing grade ever. He gets angry and asks how it's possible for a person to go from an A to a D. Jade, whose mind seemed to be far away from grades, replies by saying that this happened to her in the 8th grade. Did you catch the joke? While Andre is definitely talking about failing the class, Jade is actually talking about puberty and her going from an A cup to a D cup. If you watched this as a kid, you probably just thought she was talking about failing grades in the 8th grade. But it turns out, Jade's joke is much heavier with an innuendo only older people would understand. In an earlier take of the same classroom scene, we see Andre losing his cool and pushing Robbie off the chair. We then hear Jade's hilarious comment that she bets that jingled Robbie's bells. Innuendos never end when you're on a Nickelodeon show, and we have all these funny jokes to prove it.
Hey guys, please check out the most awesome sisters on YouTube, Sister Fun. Watch them play the latest games, go on amazing adventures, and just doing all sorts of fun and silly things. If you have kids, little brothers or sisters, or if you just want to join in on the family fun, please subscribe to their channel.
That's not my head. You have to admit that Nickelodeon sometimes takes it just a little bit too far with their adult jokes. We totally understand putting a few innuendos in the script here and there, but almost every episode in Victorious has a joke that kids will never understand. Let's go back to the pilot, where we slowly get to know Tori Vega and the rest of the Hollywood Arts high school gang. When it comes to the talent show scene, we see a teacher telling a student to put the microphone on Tori's head, but we then hear Tori complaining that the person didn't put the microphone on her head and hinting they put it somewhere else. We'd like to keep our channel kid-friendly, so we won't tell you where Nickelodeon thinks the microphone actually was, but you can probably get the idea. The joke was innocent enough to go over kids' heads, but we bet watching it back will make you go, ew. In the pilot, we also start getting to know the personalities of the show's main characters, but have you noticed that Jade's voice and her look has actually changed since the very first episode? Pay attention to the scene where the students have to improv. You'll see that Jade's character and her strong personality developed more as the show went on. I'm a throat player. If you're still with us, let us know by writing Team Victorious in the comment section. In the 3rd episode of Season 1, we get to learn more about Tori's talents. Tori is becoming more and more frustrated that she has to carry around and play a horn, when she'd much rather sing and use her voice. Simple, right? We all have different talents, and it's important to try things out when you're a kid. So when Andre and Cat find Tori being all frustrated, she admits that she's not an instrument player. In her words, she says that her throat is her instrument and she's a throat player instead. Andre says that it doesn't count, and Cat adds that it sounds kind of gross. You wouldn't think much of this joke as a child, but I'm sure there are many adults out there who know why throat playing just isn't something that should ever be said in a show like Victorious. Being a throat player definitely sounds gross and way too inappropriate for a kid's TV show. We're telling you, Nickelodeon has absolutely no filter, even though it would definitely be useful to turn it on at least once in a while. Let's just hope being a throat player doesn't put a lot of pressure on your throat. Do you have a credit card? This is probably one of the most innocent jokes on the show, but we bet there are a lot of adults who have experienced real-life people that behave this way. Kids love to ask for money, right? But the 7th episode of Season 1 featured a scene with Cat and Sinjin, and it feels like an introduction to Kanye West's Gold Digger song. Cat is excited over the Sky Store catalog she got on an airplane. She becomes completely obsessed and buys tons of ridiculous stuff until Beck ends up ripping the catalog to stop her toward the end of the episode. Cat then notices Sinjin and innocently innocently asks him if he has a girlfriend. Sinjin says no, and then Cat asks if he has a credit card, to which he replies with a yes. Cat then suddenly becomes totally interested in him and ends up seductively stroking his arm and telling him to call her sometime. How does Kanye West's song go again? We can definitely find those lyrics in Cat's behavior. We just hope this was just an inappropriate joke and Cat didn't really do anything with Sinjin just so she could get money from him. We all know Ariana Grande loves to sing about embracing the sensual side of being a woman, but we do hope that Nickelodeon knows these characters are too young to do any love-related favors to their friends in exchange for money. Sinjin versus Jade. Teenagers are reckless, especially when we like someone, but Victorious had a scene that made Sinjin look, well, just a little bit creepy. Remember the 9th episode of the first season called The Wi-Fi in the Sky? Tori starts to video chat with Andre, Cat, and Beck to get started on the group assignment they have to do. After a while, Sinjin appears, and this is when things get a bit weird. As Jade realizes that the lamp and the sofa on the screen actually belong to her house, she freaks out. We all know Jade is Sinjin's love interest, but this relationship, or better yet, an obsession, is just one-sided. As soon as Sinjin gets caught, he leaves with his laptop and tells the gang to not tell his mom. It's bizarre that Sinjin was in Jade's house in the first place, but it's even more bizarre that he's totally aware he's doing something wrong and he still does it. This probably seemed like a funny joke to all kids, but there's just something extremely creepy about Sinjin's obsession with Jade. In the same episode, we see Beck babysitting a dog for a cheerleader. Jade immediately asks why is Beck doing favors for a cheerleader, and what is that cheerleader doing for him? This probably didn't mean much to you when you were a kid, but we all know what kind of favors some of the cheerleaders like to do to the boys they like. Tori versus Sinjin. Sinjin is definitely one of those characters that seems to have way too many inappropriate lines. But as a child, you probably never noticed some of the things that came out of his mouth, or other areas for that matter. In the 11th episode of the series, Tori pulls Sinjin in a janitor's closet and asks him to create something so she'll be able to spy on her friends. While she's explaining the secret plan, Sinjin keeps imagining she'll kiss him because that's what happens in his dream whenever she pulls him in the janitor's closet. Tori ignores Sinjin's creepy behavior and keeps on asking him for help until he agrees. When he says yes, she gives him a kiss on the cheek. Completely shocked, Sinjin watches her leave the closet and says he's experiencing the same feeling he already felt before. Tori comes back to tell him she heard that and leaves again. Something tells us that in Sinjin's dreams, Tori is doing something more than just kissing him to make that certain feeling come to Sinjin. The more we talk about Sinjin, the more we feel like his stories are all just a big inappropriate joke. Sure, teenage boys will do anything to get a kiss from the girl they like, but what Sinjin's doing is just a bit TMI. Slapped with a sausage. If you thought inappropriate jokes ever end in Victorious, you're wrong. Even though the show officially ended, you can find more and more adult jokes as you rewatch the episodes. In the 12th episode called Cat's New Boyfriend, things just get really weird. We see the students partying at the kickback, and the running joke of the night is the mysterious sausages they are eating because Sikowitz, the acting teacher, won't tell them what meat they're made of. That alone should raise a few eyebrows, but it even gets odder. We see Tori watching Cat and Danny dancing. Jade then asks her if Danny ever spun her like that. Instead of replying, Tori aggressively asks if Jade would like to be slapped by a sausage. Any normal reaction would be saying no, but for some strange reason, Jade says yes. Tori obviously refuses, but why on earth would Jade even say yes in the first place? Is Nickelodeon implying that Jade is familiar with this sort of thing? Let's just stop right here before things get any more gross, shall we? We can probably get an idea why Jade would say yes to getting a mysterious sausage in her face. It's far too inappropriate to even discuss. We're telling you, Nickelodeon didn't hold back when it came to adult jokes on this show. You don't know what I've got. The characters on this show already have big personalities, but things can get pretty bizarre when they get involved with other things, like dummies, for example. We all know Robbie has a dummy, but do you remember this scene from the 2nd episode where we learn far too many things about his puppet Rex? In this particular scene, Tori flirts with Robbie. Robbie has a massive crush on her anyways, but he's too shy to do anything about it. He escapes Tori by giving the excuse that Rex has to use the bathroom. Pretty clever, right? Well, Tori doesn't let him off the hook that easily. If you think about it, a dummy doesn't really have to use the bathroom, so it's clear Robbie's just avoiding her. After Rex claims that he has to be taken to the bathroom because he has to pee now, Tori gets visibly frustrated as she watches them leave. She then shouts that he's a puppet and he can't even pee, and Rex, well, it's actually Robbie if you think about it, replies that she doesn't even know what he is. Considering they're talking about a bathroom ordeal, it's safe to say Rex is talking about body parts, implying he definitely has something he can use to go to the bathroom. It's even odder once you realize all of this is being said by Robbie, who manages to be totally inappropriate despite having a crush on Tori. Just the girls. Teenage boys are highly inappropriate, and we totally understand why. If you've been around boys while in school, you know the jokes can sometimes go just a little bit too far. But it seems like boys in TV shows like Victorious take their creepiness and obsession with girls to a new level that shouldn't even exist. Nickelodeon gave us that impression from the very first Victorious episode we ever saw. In the first episode, Tori's getting ready for her performance. She has to change and she needs help. Everyone seems to go behind the scenes to help her change, and we mean absolutely everyone. The guys only seem to stop when it's pointed out that it's just the girls that should help her change her clothes. Seems understandable, right? Well, it's not, according to Nickelodeon. While this is clearly a funny joke and a comical break from the showcase nervousness, it really portrays teenage boys in the most stereotypical way ever. Why else would teenage boys want to go behind the scenes to help Tori change her clothes? If you think about it, the whole situation is kind of gross, and we're just glad they were told that they are definitely not allowed to go back there. Did you catch this joke the first time around? Leave us a comment and tell us what you thought. Pooka Fish. Everyone wants soft feet, right? But Nickelodeon took it a little bit too far with this soft feet fascination in the 12th episode of the first season. We told you, this episode is just weird. The episode called Cat's New Boyfriend has way too many inappropriate scenes, and we bet there are even more of them out there. Have you ever noticed how this whole episode is just about a foot fetish? Would you ever really touch someone's foot at a party? It seems to have been the storyline for this episode. Trina used Pooka Fish to make her feet smooth. These fish are known to eat dead skin and leave you with the softest feet ever. This didn't seem to work on anyone else because Trina actually bought those fish from a dodgy guy in a van. But have you noticed that even the doctor, even though he was angry about it, still admired Trina's soft feet? Not to mention Jade asked Trina if the fish are actually painful, and when Trina said no, Jade was visibly disappointed. Jade seems to have a thing for the pain, and when you combine that with her being okay with getting slapped by a sausage, it just gets a bit weird. Seriously, how many innuendos are you able to find in a single Victorious episode?
You did not make that clear.
What are you up to these days, Tori Vega? After graduating from Hollywood Arts High School, what did you go on to do? We really miss all the shenanigans you got up to on Victorious. We miss watching you and Andre get into all sorts of trouble. We wonder what happened to Beck and Jade. Are they still together? We never get tired of rewatching the show, but there are some huge plot holes we missed the first time around. Nickelodeon's Victorious was one amazing show, but in its 4th season run, there are a lot of plot holes, mistakes, and inconsistencies. Keep watching for the most shocking plot holes from the hit series.
Yes! Yes! I've so got this! Shut up!
Rex's big head. Oh, Rex. Rex was one of our favorite characters from Victorious, and he wasn't exactly human. Okay, he wasn't human at all. Rex was a puppet. Robbie Shapiro was such an awkward character in a lot of ways, and his artistic talent that landed him a spot at Hollywood Arts High School was ventriloquy. He was a puppet master, and Rex was his puppet. It was pretty hilarious the way Ronnie treated Rex like a real person. It was even better when all the other characters treated him like he was a part of the gang. But there's a big problem with Rex. In the pilot episode, Rex has a huge head, but in later episodes, his head is a lot smaller. What happened? Is the Rex we've come to know and love actually Rex 2.0? Is it the same puppet with a new head? Maybe the show's creators just hoped we wouldn't notice. We have to wonder what happened to the original Rex. We aren't sure why they felt the need to change him, and we definitely want an explanation. Drake and Josh. Sometimes shows exist within the same universe, and this is very common on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon shows. Characters will cross over with other series. Victorious was created by the same guy who invented Drake and Josh. Dan Schneider created what a lot of fans call Schneiderverse. But here's the thing, it's not exactly clear how Drake and Josh exist in the Victorious universe. There were several times that they discussed Drake and Josh as if it is a TV show.
That didn't happen to Tori and Trina.
No?
It happened on a TV show.
That would mean Victorious takes place in our world. But then there's Helen. Helen takes over as principal of Hollywood Arts High School. And she is playing the exact same character as she does on Drake and Josh. What does this mean? Is it an inconsistency between episodes? Maybe Drake and Josh is supposed to be a reality show in the Victorious universe. That would be super cool. Can you imagine Drake and Josh as reality stars? Or maybe Dan Schneider wants us to be confused. We just don't know what to think, but this plot hole has us scratching our heads. Tori Gets Stuck. Tori Gets Stuck was one of the wildest episodes of Victorious. Robbie is hospitalized because a toy car is stuck in his intestines. Jane has gone to extreme lengths to keep Tori from being in the play, including reading Tori's medical file. Tori agrees to have surgery and donate blood to Robbie. That's a huge plot hole in itself. It's not exactly clear why Tori needs to have a whole surgery just to donate blood, and why doesn't the hospital have Robbie's blood type in reserve? They say it's rare, but it's O negative, which isn't the most common blood type. In this episode, Tori also gets stuck at Nozu. She and Robbie need to cough up $22 before they can leave. She tweets that she is using the restaurant's computer. But why doesn't she use the computer or the restaurant's phone to contact someone? She could ask them to bring her the money. That seems like an easy fix to us. This episode left us with so many questions. Also, Jade basically tried to poison Tori by sending her flowers she's allergic to. That is pretty extreme. The other classes. Tori and the rest of the gang attend Hollywood Arts High School. It's a special arts high school for talented teenagers. They have all sorts of programs for artistic teenagers. There's music, drama, dancing, and ventriloquy. But there's a very important part of the high school that's missing. You might not have even noticed it. We certainly missed it the first time around. But if you go back and rewatch the series, pay attention to their classes.
Happy birthday!
They only ever seem to go to art classes. They even take multiple acting classes and other creative courses, but this is still a high school. Why aren't they taking math? Where are their English and history classes? There are plenty of real art schools in the United States, but the students still take normal classes like algebra and government. Doesn't it seem odd that they never study anything normal? That can't be a great way to prepare them for the real world. Also, we would have loved to see them in regular classes. Can you imagine Rex and Robbie taking literature? What about Cat trying to learn calculus? It would have been so funny. Tori's locker. One of the biggest mistakes in Victorious happened in Season 1, and honestly, we aren't sure how the set designers and directors missed it. In the Great Ping Pong Scam, Tori learns that there is a ping pong team, and she quickly finds out that they aren't a real team. But a flashback shows that 2 years before, Andre, Beck, Cat, Jade, and Robbie find a ping pong table. They really want to go to a fancy dinner at an expensive restaurant called Maestro's, so they devise a plan to form a team to get the $1,500 the school gives to the sports teams. Sikowitz agrees to sponsor them when they tell them that the principal could get fired if they don't get a big trophy. Then they go to dinner at Maestro's to buy a trophy. It's completely ridiculous and hilarious. And here's the thing. In the flashback, we can see Tori's signature, Make It Shine, on her locker in the background. But this supposedly happened 2 years before she got there. How is her locker there? Hey Victorious fans, do you love watching videos about all your favorite TV shows? Then you'll love the things. Click that big red subscribe button and turn on notifications to never miss another video. If you're watching on your phone, make sure your notifications are turned on for YouTube. Terrible teacher. That last blooper leads us to our next plot hole. Oh, Sikowitz. He was such a strange character. He does a lot of weird things, like climbing in the window to his classroom and drinking from a coconut.
I'm gonna drink its milk.
The students like him, but he's honestly a terrible teacher, and that's the plot hole. How did such a prestigious school like Hollywood Arts allow such a terrible teacher to work there? His lessons are total nonsense. He teaches them things like improv is like a fine cheese, but not really. He always wants to be the center of attention. He helped the students scam the school out of $1,500. He allowed Jade to pour coffee on Tori in class. He throws a ball at his students to get their attention. That sort of behavior should make a teacher lose their license. It really makes no sense that this guy is an authority figure. Are you loving these plot holes and mistakes? Keep watching to find out which Victorious photo left us dazed and confused. Trina's admission. Poor Trina. She really gets a lot of flack over the course of the show. She gets made fun of a lot, and some of it is really mean. Remember the time Jade posted a video of Trina getting hurt online so everyone would laugh? We know Trina can be really spoiled and annoying, but her character goes through a lot. The whole premise for Tori getting into Hollywood Arts is that she takes takes Trina's place in a singing showcase. Trina can't sing at all. Her lack of talent is always gossiped about and made fun of, but somehow she still manages to get into Hollywood arts. Okay, we know Mr. Sikowitz isn't quite in his right mind during her audition, but at some point pretty soon after, the school would figure out that she's not artistically inclined. She might have some other talents, but the show doesn't address them. It just focuses on how untalented she is. It's fine that she doesn't have artsy skills, but she certainly doesn't belong at an art school. Prom problem. We understand that sometimes TV inconsistencies happen from episode to episode. It's hard to keep up with everything that characters say, especially when there are a lot of episodes. This sort of thing happens a lot on Victorious. One in particular happens in Season 2. Tori convinces the others to have a prom. And through the whole episode, the students swear they've never had a prom at Hollywood Arts, and they don't really want a normal prom dance. But when we went back and rewatched the pilot episode, we noticed something weird. Sikowitz tells Cat to tell the others to come back to the classroom. She runs out and tells Andre, Robbie, and the rest of the crew what Sikowitz wants. Rex responds,
"And you really wanted a date to the prom last year, but you didn't get one, did you?"
If they never had a prom, how does that make any sense? Maybe Rex was just being mean, even if it wasn't true, but it's definitely a strange thing to joke about. What happened to Cat? One time, Victorious made something major happen to a character, and then they never resolved the storyline. In Rex Dies, the main storyline was about Rex getting sucked into the Turbo Jet. Tori convinces a doctor at the hospital to treat Rex, even though he's just a puppet. Then she turns the heart monitor back on after the puppet flatlines. But while they were at the hospital, something happens to Cat. She goes to talk to the receptionist after Jade tells her to, but Cat's a little weird, and the receptionist thinks she belongs to the psychiatric ward. The doctor even says that they should call in a specialist after Cat scratches her nose with her feet. But the episode just ends with Cat locked away in a padded room. None of her friends go to find her, and the episode never explains what happened. They just left her there. It would have been nice and probably hilarious to see Cat's storyline get resolved. The Smooch. This final plot hole actually happened years after Victorious ended. Avon Jogia, who played Beck,
transparent. I've got no secrets, and neither does my locker.
likes to post throwback pictures on his social media. Fans of Victorious loved these reminders from the show, but in 2017, he posted something weird. It's a picture where Beck is laying on Jade's lap and Tori is about to give him a smooch. This photo looks super intimate, but fans cannot figure out where this photo is from. Jade would never have just sat there while Tori made a move on Beck, and we also have no memory of this happening. There is a clip of a similar scene in the opening credits, but Tori definitely isn't close to Beck in it. Was this picture photoshopped? If so, someone did a great job. But why would Avon post it on his Instagram? Maybe this is something that happens behind the scenes, but that doesn't explain why it happened. It could be a scene that was cut from the final version, like a dream sequence. Either way, this weird photo definitely made Tori and Beck shippers happy. That's a wrap. What was your favorite Victorious moment? Let us know in the comment section.
I'm the main event. Your turn.
No!
Think about it, Rob. 2 G's. That'll buy you a lot of body wash.
Victorious was one of the most popular Nickelodeon shows for teenagers, and many fans still can't understand why it ended so quickly. Without even getting a final episode, there are many mysteries surrounding the show, and today, we'll tell them all. Join us as we expose Jory, look at music sales charts, talk about scandals, and find out what the parents actually thought of the show. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button to never miss another video, and don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. Now let's expose some of the darkest secrets Victorious tried to hide. Ariana Grande and Victoria Justice. So let's start by getting the cat out of the bag. Not literally. We're sure Cat Valentine was never in a bag anyways. It's no secret that over the years, more and more stories came out that Ariana Grande and Victoria Justice just didn't get along. From shading each other to Ariana saying she worked with someone who told her they'd never liked her and that she got bullied. Later, Victoria cleared out those rumors by saying Ariana was talking about someone she worked on a show called Broadway. Victoria also became a huge meme after she said that the entire cast could sing when Ariana was singled out as a talented singer. She quickly got branded as petty and remains one of the reasons why the show potentially ended.
Hey guys, we are so excited to announce we are producing our own original content. Head over to The Trendy for the best DIYs, fashion tips, makeup hacks, and so much more. We are sure you're going to love it, and be sure to let us know what you think in the comment section. We love to hear from you. See you there.
It was Victoria's fault. So let's look at some of the secrets Victoria Justice had more closely. In 2015, there seemed to have been even more rumors floating around that the show getting cancelled was entirely Victoria's fault. The rumor that Victoria was going to do a solo tour instead of the cast tour made the fans think she was leaving her coworkers behind to start her own music career. It doesn't help her case that Ariana held a Victorious reunion in 2016 without Victoria. Victoria addressed the rumors and stated she had nothing to do with the cancellation of the show. Do you think she's telling the truth? Jealousy from the cast. Some say that the cast were also jealous of Ariana's immediate success. If you look at the first season of Victorious, you might find that the profiles of the two singers were relatively similar. Everything was fine until Ariana was cast on a Victorious spin-off show and started receiving more limelight than any other cast. The success of her song, The Way, was likely a result of her success on Victorious. And even though she wasn't a lead character on the show, Victoria's song Gold didn't have the same charting success. As Grande was starting to bring more and more money into her project, it made Victoria jealous. This could also be the reason behind her petty, "I think we can all sing" comment. Victoria Justice pictures leaked. Did you know that Victoria Justice's private photos leaked online back in 2014? By the time it happened, the show was already cancelled, but even though Victoria denied these were her photos at first, she later admitted they belonged to her. No one wants to have their private photos leaked, especially not if you're an underage Nickelodeon star. Although the scandal became international news, it got quickly forgotten as Victoria took legal actions against the hackers who exposed her privacy. Although it's highly unlikely this had anything to do with Victorious, it probably did affect Nickelodeon's image and their professional relationship with Victoria for any future work. Were Elizabeth and Victoria dating? A Tumblr blog called TV Cancellation Theories comes up with a lot of potential secrets shows like Victorious tried to hide and what resulted in them being cancelled. Keep in mind that this is just a theory and it should definitely be taken with a grain of salt. If you loved Tori Vega and Jade West, you were most likely a Jory shipper who desperately wanted the two characters to be together. Fans still speculate that the two were actually in a relationship and Nickelodeon didn't approve. In 2016, Victoria and Elizabeth had a Victorious reunion all by themselves, and they proved that Jory is definitely still alive. Do you think they're more than just castmates and friends? Problematic Ariana. We've already talked about how the cast, especially Victoria, were most likely jealous of Ariana Grande's immediate success. But Ariana's beginnings were extremely problematic for a Nickelodeon star. It seemed that Ariana was not only potentially feuding with Victoria, but there also seems to be a Sam and Cat cast member who really didn't like working with the famous singer. We all remember Ariana's donut licking incident from her early days, but it looks like the star might have been pretty problematic on set. Although Jeanette McCurdy stated that her and Ariana butted heads in a very sisterly way, she posted a tweet about an anonymous person and said that every time they hung out, she was in a quicksand because she was getting completely lost in her world. Who do you think this was actually about? The creator wanted it to continue. It's still unclear why the show canceled in the first place, but from what it seems like, everyone really wanted Victorious to continue, even the show's creator. Dan Schneider took it to Twitter to address some of the show's rumors. He stated that he would love to have made more than 60 Victorious episodes, and that he knows some of the fans are upset and angry. Then he said that the fans shouldn't be upset with Victoria, Leon, Liz, Ariana, Avon, or any other members of the cast, as they all wanted the show to continue. It really seems that Nickelodeon put their foot down when it came to canceling the show, even though nobody wanted it to happen. But why? They really didn't want it to end. Even though it seems like Victoria is blamed for the cancellation of the show, it looks like she really didn't want it to end. In fact, she took it to Twitter and wrote a very lengthy letter on why she's grateful for Victorious. She even wrote her very own ending since the show never got a season finale. According to Victoria, Tori gets a record deal and becomes a pop star. Andre is also a pop star as well as a writer and producer. Trina gets accepted to the new season of The Bachelor. Beck gets cast in his own series. And Kat marries Robbie and starts her own babysitting service with Sam. Make sure to let us know your own version of Victoria's very final episode in the comments. Their music was successful. Here's another possible theory why Victorious got the unexpected boot. Unlike movies like High School Musical and shows like Glee, Victorious just didn't feature charting music that would make up for the production costs. Even though the show had 2 million average viewers and was one of the most popular teen shows on Nickelodeon, the sales of the cast music didn't produce the same results. The Victorious soundtrack debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 5 and sold 40,000 copies. Meanwhile, Ariana's debut song sold 2.3 million copies as of March 2016. Since Nickelodeon seemed to only focus on Ariana Grande's success, it could be that Victorious' average sales just weren't enough to continue with the show. Parents hated the show. And lastly, the show didn't seem to have much support from the parents. Even though their kids loved the show, the parents just didn't seem to get on board with many things, including Victorious's inappropriate jokes. The parents have criticized rude characters who seem to have absolutely no manners. According to them, the show also features a lot of pushover parents who seem to have no control over their kids' lives and create a false reality of how a teenager is supposed to act in the real world. Some even criticize that the show focuses way too much on girls being liked by boys and doesn't bring enough diversity to be an educational Nickelodeon show. Could this be why Nickelodeon finally decided to pull the plug on Victorious? Let us know what secrets we should expose next.
It's so gross how he's always hitting on every girl.
I never hit on you.
Rex, you're nothing like your best friend Robbie. He's shy and more than a little awkward. But you say whatever's on your mind. You have no filter and you aren't afraid to flirt with girls. But the biggest difference between you and Robbie is that your head drastically shrunk in size, whereas Robbie's pretty much stayed the same throughout the series. So we hate to ask, but are you the same puppet we saw in the pilot episode? Because it really doesn't look like it. Rex Power's spontaneous face change isn't the only mistake fans noticed in Victorious. In fact, this show has tons of unforeseen goofs, from plot holes to continuity errors to audio problems. But even then, Victorious is still one of the best TV shows ever, proving that nothing, not even Victorious, is perfect. Keep watching to find out about the hilarious hairnut goof we spotted in the episode How Trina Got In.
Cat? That's mean. And true. How did she get in?
A lot of goofs happen in the 1-hour special titled Tori Goes Platinum. This is a really fun episode because we get to see Tori sporting a bunch of new looks. Tori wins a contest and lands herself a gig at the Platinum Music Awards.
Tori Vega, how would you like to sing the opening number at this year's Platinum Music Awards?
But Jade meddles and manages to snatch Tori's role away from her. To cheer Tori up, Andre, Robbie, and Beck go to Tori's house and give her a chocolate leaf blower. But when Tori tells Robbie and Andre that they can go to the awards, they run out of her place and Robbie steals the gift they brought her. In the next shot, however, the blue and pink gift bag is still on the floor. There's another continuity error in the episode too. Earlier in the series, it was revealed that Tori couldn't play any instruments, as mentioned in episodes like Stage Fighting and Beck's Big Break. But in Tori's audition tape, we see her playing the piano like a pro. While she could have learned how to play on her own, she was playing in an unusually skilled manner for a beginner.
No, I did, but...
Jade West isn't the easiest person to get along with. She's opinionated, sarcastic, and quite frankly, she can be a little mean and scary. But that's not to say that there isn't a nice person beneath that stone-cold exterior. In the episode titled The Wood, a reality TV show called The Wood is filmed at Hollywood Arts. The students step in front of the camera to tell their show's executives a little bit about themselves. And one of the producers asked Jade to name a few things that she doesn't like. Jade goes on a hate rant, and the first thing she says,
tuna fish?
We wouldn't call Jade a liar, but we know for a fact that Jade quite likes it. So much so that she's eaten tuna fish sandwiches for lunch before. In the episode titled ROBARAZZI, Robbie starts spying on his fellow classmates and posting some very embarrassing videos of them online. He posts a video of Beck and Jade talking in a car, and it's here that Jade states that she ate tuna fish for lunch. While it isn't the biggest continuity error, it does make Jade look a little shady. We mean, why would she lie about hating tuna fish on camera?
Then I issue a challenge.
But plot holes and continuity errors aren't the only things that made it into Victorious. The show also had a handful of audio problems when it came to syncing voiceovers to their videos. Turns out, the episode titled ROBARAZZI had more goofs than one. In this episode, Robbie's minions managed to snap pictures of Tori after she's applied armpit cream to her underarms. Robbie uploads the pictures to his blog, but seconds later we can see that Robbie's lips don't match up with the audio.
What up with Tori Vega's armpits?
It's completely off. But this wouldn't be the first time Robbie's character experienced audio problems, and it wouldn't be the last time either. In the episode titled Tori the Zombie, we see this happen yet again while Tori, Beck, and Robbie are singing on stage. Tori hits Robbie and he says, "Ow," but his lips are offbeat. It's normal for actors to record songs in the studio and later act out the scenes while lip syncing, but these two audio mishaps were way off, which is why viewers noticed them in the first place.
You ready?
I think the real question is, are you ready?
One of the funniest episodes in Victoria's history is none other than Survival of the Hottest. During this episode, the Los Angeles area is hit with a heat wave, so the students decide to take a well-deserved mini road trip to Venice Beach. This episode has 2 continuity errors and 1 major plot hole. The first error happens when Beck and Jade get to the RV, seconds before Cat rushes out to use the bathroom. Keep a close eye on Jade's sunglasses. They disappear and reappear between takes a handful of times. Then, once in the RV, the gang finds out that they're locked in.
It's so hot!
Their only option is to wait for Cat to come back from the bathroom, leading Jade to plop down on the couch in the back of the RV. But when the camera switches over to Tori, we can see Jade sitting back down on the sofa. But the episode's biggest plot hole revolves around the heat wave itself. The gang was stuck in the scorching RV without proper ventilation for hours on end. In real life, this would have stopped them from fighting, singing, and talking. Because, well, they would have been much too weak to do anything at all.
You don't have to be afraid to put your dreams in action.
Give this video a big thumbs up if you're enjoying it so far. And don't forget to subscribe to The Things for more fun videos. We post weekly videos about all your favorite Nickelodeon shows, so be sure to go into your YouTube settings and switch on notifications to get notified as soon as we upload something new. There are so many things wrong with the episode titled Brain Squeezers, we don't even know where to begin. It all starts when the gang is selected to appear on the game show Brain Squeezers.
OMRG? You got picked to be a team captain!
Sure did.
They pick teams and get ready to battle it out on camera. But there's something seriously wrong with the host of the show and the show itself. First of all the contestants are minors, and you can't appear on TV without a legal guardian signature. Secondly, the show is so violent, it's a wonder that none of the students were sent to the hospital. We mean, come on. Cat received a full-on blow to the face. The force of the impact was so strong, it should have broken her nose at the very least. And then, a car battery is dropped on Jade's head for crying out loud. The entire Brain Squeezers crew should have been sent to jail for putting the lives of minors at risk. Then, when Jade gets her question wrong, they pummel her with salt and batteries. But the blue team's reaction to Jade's doink was used twice in a matter of seconds. First, when Jade was sprinkled with salt, and once again when the car battery fell on her head.
It's borderline dangerous.
Yeah, why don't you just drop a car battery on her head? Car battery!
This next TV mistake is a little more subtle, but that didn't stop die-hard Victorious fans from calling it out online. In the pilot episode, Andre tries to convince Tori not to drop out of Hollywood Arts. And then, Robbie and Rex informs them that Sickowitz wants them to head back to the classroom. Seconds later, Cat comes along to remind the students that their teacher really wants them to get back to class. Rex goes full savage on Cat. He mocks her, saying,
And you really wanted a date to the prom last year, but you didn't get one, did you?
Oh, the pilot episode pretty much confirms that Hollywood Arts has hosted a prom in the past. But then, in the episode titled Prom Wrecker, we hear the students saying the exact opposite of that. Tori even talks to Sickowitz and tells him that Hollywood Arts has never had a prom before.
Wait, why are we talking about proms?
In the opening scene of the episode titled Tori and Jade's Playdate, Sickowitz asks Cat and Robbie to deliver some bad news in a happy way.
Now, improvise a scene where you have to give Tanner that bad news in a way that doesn't upset him.
So Robbie and Cat choose to tell Tanner the bad news while singing and playing the guitar. During this scene, we can see that Rex is sitting on a chair in the background. He's facing right throughout the song, but after the bad news has been delivered, Rex is looking the other way. We seriously hope that Rex can't move on his own, because that would be way too freaky. Then, midway through the episode, Sikowitz forces Tori and Jade to go on a sushi date to better learn how to play husband and wife. The girls aren't too happy about this. But if you keep an eye on Tori's glass of green tea throughout the scene, you can see that it mysteriously disappears and reappears between takes.
My date and I were wondering if you have a flight of stairs we could throw ourselves down.
It's hard to keep track of every little detail when filming a hectic episode like the one titled The Slap Fight, so that must be why there were so many discrepancies in the gang short film Socks and Violins. In this episode, Cat, Andre, Beck, Tori, Robbie, and Jade are tasked with creating a short film for one of their classes, but they're short on time because of their obsession with social media.
19 hours to finish that short film.
The gang manages to create a short film with minutes to spare, but viewers quickly notice some continuity errors in their school project. At the beginning of Socks and Violins, Jade is wearing an eye patch over her right eye, but after a few seconds, the eye patch jumps to her left eye and then back again. It's so easy to spot that we almost didn't notice what was happening with Jade's drink. At the beginning of the video, she had fruit in her glass, but throughout the short film, the fruits mysteriously disappear and reappear.
I would like to sing Freak the Freak Out.
Really?
In the first part of the episode Freak the Freak Out, the gang goes to a karaoke bar and things get a little intense. Haley and Tara flirt with Beck and Andre when Jade leaves to grab a soda.
If you get nervous, I'll hold your hand.
And Jade loses it on them when she sees what's going on. Jade and Kat are challenged to a sing-off. And during their performance, Jade grabs the food off Haley and Tara's plate and throws it around. But during the very next take, we can see that the plate of food is untouched, as if Jade had never taken her anger out on that poor little burger.
Trina is in! Trina is in! Trina is in!
In the episode titled How Trina Got In, Tori and Robbie go to a sushi restaurant, and Robbie offers to pay the bill because Tori helped him massage his grandma's feet. We know, pretty weird stuff, right? But problem is, Robbie left his wallet at school, so they can't pay for the food they just ate.
Hey! Why are you still here?
The restaurant owner puts them to work chopping squid, and at one point, Tori and Robbie rip their hairnets off in a fit of rage. But in the next shot, Robbie still has his hairnet on, although it disappears a few seconds later. And that's a wrap on the 10 huge mistakes that made it into Victorious. Before you go, tell us who your favorite character is in the comments. Oh, and be sure to tell us which ship you prefer, Bade or Bori.
Oh my god, you're Tori, right? Uh-huh. You were so awesome in the big showcase. Do you think my mom's boss will notice? You triggered me, right?
How is she getting younger as she gets older?
Don't say a word.
Being Jade's boyfriend isn't always easy, now is it, Beck? She's got a big personality, and she isn't afraid to use it. While some people see her as a fiercely dark-humored person, deep down, you know she has a heart of gold. Jade would do anything for you, Beck. A little too much if you ask us. But hey, we wouldn't want to get on your girlfriend's bad side. Jade West is a savage, and Tori Vega can attest to that. But despite all of her shortcomings, Jade is hilarious, and Victorious wouldn't have been the same without her. We've lined up all of Jade's most savage moments. Keep watching to find out which one of these moments could have landed Jade in jail.
Shh, don't fight it, don't fight it.
Jade dumps Beck. In Season 1, Episode 5, Jade decides to break things off with Beck when she finds out that she's been hanging out and texting Alyssa Vaughn. She's super jealous, and she doesn't trust him, but even then, she wants him back. Tori goes out of her way to help Jade win her boyfriend back, and she encourages her to do something nice for him, like get him that dog he always wanted. Once they patch things up, Tori asks Jade for a ride home, and Jade, being the savage she is, tells her that
it's not that far a walk.
Yup, the girl is merciless. Tori and Jade's playdate. In Season 3, Episode 6, Tori and Jade are selected to play a married couple in a new play. But Sikowitz isn't too happy with how Jade and Tori are getting along, so he forces them to go out on a date. During this date, Tori points out that there's no good reason that they can't sit down and have a conversation. And that's when Jade strikes. She tells Tori that there's a good reason and then says,
I don't like you!
Ouch, that one must have left a mark. The wood. In Season 1, Episode 18, a reality show called The Wood sets up shop at Hollywood Arts, and the students are interviewed to win a spot on the show. Jade doesn't hold back when the producers ask her to name some of the things that she hates. She goes off on a rant, saying that she hates things like flowers, giggling rainbows, and the color yellow, and most of all,
Ducks. Man, I hate ducks.
it's a hilarious moment that ultimately wins her a spot on the show. Opposite date. We all know Jade is a jealous girlfriend, but she took things to a whole new level in Season 4, Episode 3. In the episode titled Opposite Date, Cat accidentally tells Jade about how Beck and Tori are on what they are calling an opposite date. Jade flips out and proceeds to stalk them by impersonating Cat on the phone. It's a hilarious moment.
My brother locked me in the closet, so I'm really bored and I just want to know what you guys are doing.
But Jade goes full savage when she tricks Cat into putting her head on her shoulder, only to restrain her, cover her mouth, and steal her phone. The Gorilla Club. In Season 3, Episode 4, Jade and Beck get into another fight. Beck points out that he's tired of all the fighting, prompting Jade to ask him if he wants to break up. And that's when Trina jumps in and tries to make a move on Beck. Jade fires back immediately. She throws a pillow at her face and warns her that
Next time it's a hammer.
Helen back again. In Season 2, Episode 8, Jade goes ballistic during a school announcement. When Sikowitz is having a hard time getting the student boy to listen to his speech, Jade stands up and quiets everyone down by screaming,
Everybody shut up!
It's a hilarious moment that just goes to show how intimidating Jade can be. Sikowitz fires back by calling Jade sweet and feminine. Brain squeezers. It's no secret that Jade has a bone to pick with Tori, and this is showcased once again in Season 4, Episode 10, when Tori asks Jade for a fry. Instead of giving her one, Jade spits all over them, and Tori forgets all about Jade's fries. But Sinjin doesn't. Jade warns him.
I spit on those.
But he chooses to eat one anyway. Opposite Date, Part 2. There are a lot of savage moments in the episode titled Opposite Date, like the time that Jade asks Tori if she's wearing a new top, and then says,
Yikes!
when she says that she is. While Jade can come off as a bully, there's a method to her madness, and besides, Tori is no angel. The Birth Week Song. In Season 1, Episode 4, Jade plays a prank on Tori, and it's a pretty gross one. She asks Tori to try her coffee and tell her what it tastes like, only to laugh and tell her,
I don't know, I found it in the garbage.
Then when Trina refers to Jade as Tori's friend, Jade walks off saying that she isn't her friend. Was it just us, or is Jade on a roll? Tori gets stuck. This savage Jade moment should have landed her in jail. In Season 2, Episode 4, Jade gets cast as Tori's understudy, so she plots against her. When Tori donates her blood to save Robbie, Jade gets rid of the first pint, forcing Tori to miss the play. Here are the things we post daily videos about nostalgic shows like Victorious, so make sure to subscribe. If you're watching on your mobile, go into your YouTube settings and switch on notifications so you never miss another video. Clearly Jade is one wicked character, but we love her all the same. Who was your favorite character from Victorious? Sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to The Things. We'll see you next time.